Nice one! There you must go.
So let's talk about my experience repatriating from South Africa to the US. I have been a humanitarian in Cape Town, South Africa for the past 4 years. And up until last week, I have lived there. My children have been born there. And yeah, it's been what I've called home. I feel I've spent my whole married life in South Africa, so yeah, it's very familiar to me. So it's not a place that I consider that I'm visiting. I feel a little bit more of an outsider in the States because I haven't lived here in almost 6 years, over half a decade. So yeah, but yeah, so my repatriation story is probably similar to a lot of people who have done it. Not as extreme as some others, but probably a little bit different than the normal experience due to this whole coronavirus thing. So South Africa has one of the, let's say, more stringent lockdowns in the world due to the coronavirus pandemic. The first 5 weeks, the lockdown in South Africa started on March 26th, March 27th. I can't really remember the exact date. It started and it was pretty strict. You were limited to leaving your house only to go to the store, to buy certain groceries that you were able to buy. You'd go to the store and you were kind of limited to certain goods. The aisles would be blocked off. And also the store's only allowed a certain amount of people in at a time. So if you went to the store at the wrong time, it could take you 2 or 3 hours depending on the store that you decide to go shopping at. Not only that, restaurants were closed. There was no food delivery. Alcohol was banned as well as cigarettes. So if you didn't have alcohol, tough luck. Yeah, you couldn't exercise. So you couldn't go walk your dog. That was something that was explicit. You couldn't go for a run. So you're pretty much restricted to your home. And so due to the fact that we have a 2-year-old and we have a small apartment, I think it's 40 square meters. I don't know what that is in feet, maybe like 400, 500 square feet, something like that. We decided to stay at our friend's house. We have an American friend who lives here in the States, who had a house, but he has a house in South Africa, but he doesn't stay in it, and it had a lot more room. So for the first 5 weeks of the lockdown, that's where we stayed, just to have more space. We moved in a lot of our stuff, and it was okay. It was fine. Didn't have a lot of issues. But as it quickly became evident that South Africa would be moving at a very, I'm trying to choose my words carefully, a much more cautious pace than we'd like, it meant a couple of things. So some things to go to consider were our work. My wife and I both work in sectors that, by all indications, wouldn't return to work before September to October at the earliest. That's a very conservative estimate. We felt that the way that the country is progressing, that in all actuality that would be closer to a December-January restart. So that meant that we'd pretty much be at home on some shape or form, under lockdown, some shape and form, until then. And on top of that, my wife is pregnant, very pregnant, actually, and she's due in September. So when you add those variables up, we felt that for us, if we were going to be waiting somewhere, it'd be a lot more comfortable for us to wait here in the States with our family. We felt that would be a bit more productive of our time and just be a little bit better for our family. So that's a decision we made as a family. The issue that we have with that is, since South Africa is under lockdown, that means all borders were closed. You couldn't drive from province to province or state to state. And all commercial airlines had stopped flying. So what we had to do was we had to get in touch with the U.S. Embassy in South Africa and get on essentially what is a waiting list. And the process kind of goes like this. You get an email one day saying that such and such airline is offering flights out of South Africa. Let's say you get an email on Monday. The flight will be like on a Saturday or Sunday. And what you'll have to do is you'll have to send in your information to the U.S. Embassy. They'll have to clear you to make sure that you're eligible to enter the country. And then you just kind of play the waiting game until you get cleared. Once you get cleared, you then have to pay the airline what is a marked up fee, because the airlines aren't going to do it for free. Marked up fee for your tickets, and then you wait some more to see if the flight will be canceled or not, because I mean, it's a crazy time. There's no really playbook on how it works. So flights were offered and then canceled kind of a couple of times. So last Sunday, we were able to get on a flight that flew from Cape Town, where we stay, to Johannesburg, to Washington, D.C. And then at that point, we would have to find our own way to whatever city we were going to make it in. So for us, the first step was we had to meet at the Cape Town World Cup Stadium. And from there, we had to go to health screenings. They took our temperature, and we had to drag all our bags. Well, I had to drag all our bags and go through a health screening. And that's why I actually have this bracelet here. It shows that I went through a health screening and that I didn't present any symptoms of COVID. Oh yeah, I forgot to throw out this whole time we're wearing these face masks. I'll see if I can find a picture of it and insert that. So yeah, we did that. We had to meet at the stadium at 11. Then from the stadium, they bussed us to the airport. Now keep in mind that all airports are closed. There's no domestic travel, no international travel. So we're busing through the streets of Cape Town, which was kind of surreal because it was pretty much empty, because travel is still pretty restricted in South Africa. We get to the airport, and when we get to the airport is actually barricaded off. So it's kind of like a scene from like an apocalyptic movie or something like that. So we get to the airport, and we're the only flight leaving out of Cape Town for the entire day. There are no other planes leaving. There are no other planes arriving. So the airport is completely empty except for the people on our flight. board the flight, and then we go to Johannesburg, and we get to Johannesburg, and it's the same scenario. The airport is closed, there's no flights arriving, there's no flights leaving except for ours. Matter of fact, the airport was so closed down. Actually, I'll insert a video of us walking from our gate to the next gate here.
This is so crazy, huh? Yeah, this is the worst airport, and there's nobody here.
So what you can't see in the video is there's actually a person walking us in groups of 20 from our gate to the next gate because we don't know where to go. And we actually, our path took us behind the ticket counter through like the hallways that I guess the ticketing agents normally walk through. And we go through security again. And the airport's actually so closed down that there's no water running in the bathrooms, which is crazy, right? We go to security again. And funny enough, in kind of typical fashion for Johannesburg Airport, we left an hour late. Even though we're the only flight leaving, for the day. We left an hour late. So we then had a 15 hour flight from Johannesburg to DC. When we get to DC, kind of similar in the same story that the airport was predominantly empty. But there were still flights leaving, so yeah, overall it's kind of a weird experience going through airports where everything's closed and there's not really a whole lot going on. It was definitely an experience I'll remember for the rest of my life. So if you have any questions or comments, whatever, about the experience, about my experience, leave them down in the comment section below. What's your Corona experience like? I mean, it kind of is unprecedented, so share it. Until next time, peace, love, Afro Grease.